To check before calling for emergency service with no water. 1. Make sure you have power at all outlets, no breakers are tripped, and no GFI outlets are tripped. 2. Check the pressure switch at the well. If your well has a pressure gauge, see if the gauge reads anything other than 0. Otherwise, check for ants or lizards in the switch. Once that's checked, and we know we have water at that point, then we move on to the aerator. See if the aerator is full of water. If it is not full of water, we want to check the solenoid. There is a manual lever on the solenoid. You can turn that lever counterclockwise and that can fill the aerator. If that fills the aerator, then we might have a bad float. Then we move on to checking the float. The upper float in the aerator controls the level of the water. If that float is not working or is sticking, it cannot fill. Now we will move on. It seems like the float was just sticking. It's filling. Now we'll move on to the pump pressure switch for the house. Check again to see if there is any ants or lizards in that. If that is clear, then we are okay. Now once the aerator is full enough, there is a lower float in there, which is a safety float. If that float is in the up position, the pump should start kicking on. If it does not kick on, once the level in the aerator is just about full, we could have another problem. To check that float, simply unplug it from the wall and plug in the pump directly without using that float. And if the pump works, we know we have a bad float. If it does not work, now we have checked everything, and it's very likely that you could have a bad pump. Can you hear that one?